The main question today is on eating curds and whey. Thanks for joining us today on Questions and Answers. Here's the first question, and that is, when is Ivy's next cooking video? She is so adorable. Well, I'm sure Ivy's ready for a cooking episode, and hopefully in the next month or so, we'll be giving you an Ivy cooking episode. I'll do my best. It's a little tricky sometimes to find exactly the right episode for Ivy to do. I'm working on it. Thanks for the suggestion. Here's the one on the last cooking episode. The gloves you're using look pretty modern to me. What kind of protective gear would they have used to take the bowl out of the Dutch oven so they don't get burned? Probably. Most often in the 18th century, even in the 19th century, they would have just used some rags or cloth to get in there to get those things out. Cooks probably didn't always have available to them leather gloves like I was using. But in a modern circumstance or in these times, I don't want anybody to get burned. I want to show people the safest way to get in there and to get those things, so I use heavy leather gloves, even though they might not be perfectly period. That's my take on it. Here's one that came in on one of the many mud oven episodes that we've done. What's the time taken to complete the dancing on the mud? Well, really, you dance on that mud until it's done. You just want to make sure all the individual components are completely incorporated. You got a really good mix on that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but, depending on what you're mixing and whether the components are really wet or really dry, it takes a completely different period of time. Sometimes it might only take 5 or 10 squishes and you're there. Other times you might have to dance on that thing for 15 minutes before it looks right. Here's a question that came in on one of the pasta episodes we did. If you want to search about 18th century pasta, we've done several episodes. Most of them have to do with vermicelli, which is something that you find in the recipe books of the 18th century, the English books. The question here is, do you have to go through the drying process if immediate consumption is desired, or can you just eat it as it is and dry it only for storage reasons like a lot of other pastas? Yeah, I think that you can use it fresh. If you just cut it right up and start using it, that is definitely a possibility. Once you cut it up really small, though, like this, it dries really rapidly. So the drying really isn't that much of an issue, but you can definitely use it fresh. Here's one that came in on the last Q&A. I was wondering if you guys would ever consider different period cooking. While I know you guys special in early American history, I'm sure that you guys have gone through enough historical cookbooks that you could probably do some very interesting programs on Pioneer Era, Civil War, and even turn of the century cooking. Very interesting that we could go outside of our time period. Generally, if we go outside, we go maybe a little bit earlier because it's still related to the kind of period cooking we do. And sometimes into the early 19th century, say 1836, I think is the latest thing that we've ever done. There's so much to do for cooking in the 18th century, in the 17th century, and even in that early 19th century that we could do cooking episodes forever and not kind of run out of topics. So I doubt that we'll stretch that far into the future, into the Civil War period. And really, most of those things are very related to what we're doing. So, maybe occasionally, but I think we're going to stick with where we're at. Here's another one that's related to the last Q&A. You mentioned the never-ending stew pot idea. Sounds interesting. There's nothing on YouTube or the net that I can find about this, apart from just being, I think, a stew that one keeps hot and adding ingredients to. Is there anything else involved? Can we do this today, maybe with a crock pot? And are there sanitary risks or special ingredients needed for a prolonged stew? Whew, that's a lot of questions. I don't know about there's not any special ingredients. I mean, they did all kinds of things in the 18th century. They would throw grains in, greens in, different kinds of meats at different times. Really, I mean, I guess one of the issues here is keeping the temperature up so that you don't have bad bacteria or things going on in there. If you keep it up to the right heat, it really shouldn't be an issue. Can we do it in a crock pot? I would imagine that wouldn't be an issue as long as that temperature is up there. Probably, what do you think, 165 degrees? Probably the lowest temperature you want that to be sitting at. But, I mean, you have to keep adding like water to that, or else it'll all your moisture will disappear and it'll burn, and you don't want that. And you really have to keep using up most of it, eating what's there and putting more in there. If there's somebody in the comment section that really wants to address this, I know it's been addressed sometimes in the past. I'm sure there's somebody in the comment section that'd love to chime in on this. If you got some ideas about this particular topic, go down in the comment section, help us out. Here we go. Here's the main question of the day that came in on the last cooking episode. Little Miss Muffet was eating her curds and whey. I know what curds and whey are, and it doesn't seem like something a person would really want to eat. If it is what I'm thinking, raw cheese in its own way, was this a popular or common thing for people to eat? Here's a real interesting question about curds and whey, and it kind of makes me think a lot. As I've done research, I haven't seen specific talking about eating curds and whey together in the 18th century. But when I think about it, it reminds me of a posset, which posset drinks. We've done a posset. I'll probably try to find a link, put it in the description section to that. It has to do with having a milk product, and you put in different products, and it actually kind of creates a curds and whey effect. It makes the curds kind of break up, come to the surface. I imagine that this would actually be a very simple way of consuming these things. Probably a very good thing to give something like a posset. They would give that to invalids, young people, old people, something that would be almost very, very easy to digest because of what's happening with the curds and whey here. The way the milk has already been kind of pre-digested by an acid or even a coagulating product, rennet, or artificial rennets in the time period. It would make that actually easier to digest. So I can imagine that curds and whey would be a popular 18th century thing. That's something that I would need to do a little bit more research on to find very specific examples where it actually talks about that. But again, a posset is an example of that same kind of thing going on. If you've seen specific references to curds and whey, go down in the comment section. Give us your little 2 cents on that. It'd be another great way if you've seen that to help out in the comment section. So we're so excited. We have started shipping off the t-shirts, and I know some people have actually mentioned it in social media, Facebook, places like that. We haven't shipped off all the t-shirts yet. We actually did them in 2 different batches so that we could get some out right away. If you've gotten your t-shirt and you want to share that, you can share that in social media, either Facebook or Instagram. Make sure to put the hashtag Townsend t-shirt. Is that what it says?
Townsend's t-shirt.
Townsend's t-shirt. I'll put it up on the screen here so you can get it right. I would love to see some of those on Instagram or Facebook, and we will share those as well. So go ahead and put a hashtag on that. I would love to see some of those pictures of you guys with your t-shirts. And as the next batch comes in, we'll be making sure to send those out as soon as we possibly can. And make sure to tag us as well so we can easily find those posts. So hopefully today the website is running. 9 o'clock Thursday hopefully is our go date on our website, and it's really looking good. If that website is ready to go, I will be headed down to Martin Station this weekend. So if you're going to be at Martin Station Saturday or Sunday, look me up. If the website's still not working, I won't be there. I'll be here slaving away, making sure that website is looking right. But if you're going to be at Martin Station, make sure to look me up. Hopefully I'll be there with Ivy. And if you're interested in coming to Martin Station, a wonderful site, the Raid at Martin Station, that is this weekend. It's an amazing event. Martin Station is in very western tip of Virginia, Ewing, Virginia, if you want to look that up. An amazing location if you're anywhere close by. Even if you can't come this weekend, go see that site. It is really, really great. And I've got at least one video about Martin Station with Billy Heck in it. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description section so you can check that out. I want to thank everyone for your amazing support, everything you do for us. When you watch videos, you go to our website, you support us on Patreon, your support in the comment section, everything is so wonderful. Thank you so much for watching today.